Welcome to 216, a Link to the Past randomizer podcast. I am your host, fearagent. It's been a minute. I appreciate everyone holding on. If you've missed the sound of my voice, you can always go back and listen to my other podcast, Movies I Missed with my friend Ryan Miller, moviesImissed.com. We just wrapped up season number 2, where we covered the year 1985 in film. I'm super biased. It's a great podcast. I love it. I love doing it. And if you like me here on 216, then maybe go give that show a listen. But we're back. Now that we're on a break from Movies I Missed, I'm able to spend a little bit more time here. So we've got a new episode for you today that I'm very excited about. On today's show, we've got the one and only TreZco, person in charge over at Zelda Speedruns. We had an awesome conversation. Trez wasn't someone I really knew, but I got a lot of recommendations from people to talk to him. I didn't even really need those recommendations, though. I knew I wanted to talk to him, and it doesn't disappoint. It's a great conversation. I think you're going to enjoy it. I really appreciate Trez, too, because my interview skills are a little rusty. It's been a minute since I've done a podcast one-on-one where I'm interviewing someone. And it's always tough to get back into the groove of things. So I really appreciate Trez being the first one back, because he was just a person that was really easy to have a conversation with and had a lot of stories to tell. And I had a really good time talking to him. So we'll get to that shortly. Cross keys. That's what's going on. We've got the 216 Cross Keys tournament well underway. We've said goodbye to some really, really good teams. And as far as who's left, in round 5 of the winner's bracket, we've got Discordia, which is Eris and Ramon. They're going to be going against Where on Earth is Julo Ninja, which is GFE and Julo. So that's going to be a really good matchup. Also on that side of the bracket is Nick Hara Basement, which is the returning team that won last year, Humbug and Telethar. And they're going up against Team Gerdo, which is Jim and Thalane. 2 excellent matches to be on the watch for. I think when this comes out, the Nick Hara Basement Cage and Team Gerdo matchup hasn't been scheduled, so there's an opportunity to watch that one. In the losers bracket, we've got the Fendrana Drifters, that's Wally and Megawatt, going up against SMZ3 finalists. That's Gamachu and MM2. And they're going to be facing off here shortly. Jammo is the new Gamma. That's my team with Jammo. We're waiting on a couple of teams to play our race. We are in the losers bracket. We got knocked down there by Team Gerdo. No shame there. Maybe we're the monsters. That's Sawyer and Will WC. They're also waiting on a team in the losers bracket. They're waiting for the winner of the Chugga Chugga Choo Choo, which is Vex and Flip Hill versus Deep Dish Dipshits. That's a Moogle Charm and Zaf. And as I'm recording this, I actually have that up on my screen. They're racing right now. And by the looks of it, I've been watching this race as I've edited the episode. It looks like it's Moogle and Zaf's race to lose at this point, but you never know. So it looks like they'll be going up against Maybe We're the Monsters, which again is Will WC and Sawyer. And then we've got Freddy and a Fox versus Jesse and Laoria. Freddy and a Fox is Win Fox and Freddy, and they're going up against Jesse, who's been on the show multiple times, and Laoria, who is also been on the show many times and our awesome editor. So they're going to be playing, and then they will go up against Into Shovel, Into Mushroom, Into something. I don't know what their full name is. That's Magno and Brogor. So a lot of really good teams left. Tournament's been super fun. Gemma and I have been playing a ton of ace hanks and races, and I just love co-op cross keys. It's the best. So I hope everyone's enjoyed playing in the tournament, and if you're following along, I hope you've enjoyed that as well. The main cross keys tournament is also going on. We are in week number 3, and I'm 2-1. I did join. I went 2-0. I beat Nux and Koi in rounds 1 and 2, respectively. And then PH, who's been a frequent guest on the show, one of my favorite people in the community decided to kick my ass and knock me into the 2-1 bracket. So next week I'll be playing in the 2-1 bracket, and there's some scary, scary names in the 2-1 bracket. So could easily be 2-2. My goal, I told myself the goal was to go 4-4. If I can do that, I think there's only 7 rounds, so maybe like 4-3. Yeah, I think I'll be happy with that. I've been playing a lot more, mostly because of co-op, but I'm having a good time. I think there's some other tournaments going on. Kaz Boots, I think, is going on. They're in brackets, I want to say. Yeah, things are happening. Pieces are moving. People are having fun. Ladder is going strong. I know that's been really popular, the new step ladder that Cody developed. Again, you can listen to that episode from a little bit ago where I talked to Cody about developing the new step ladder, and it's in full swing and the schedule's running. Everything seems to be running great. The team over there with Tyler Salt and Doc and Muffins, and I can't remember if there's anyone else, seems to be happy with everything and how they're running everything. The community seems to be enjoying it. They've added 1v1s, which is pretty cool. So it's like a mix of group races and 1v1s. They've added a whole bunch of different cross keys variants, which is cool. So stepladder is in full effect, and that's pretty awesome. Before I move on, I want to go back to the 216 tournament and do want to give a big shout out to Claire Mouse, whose bot has been running the tournament alongside of her, and she's just an amazing admin, and I can't help but shout her out, all the work that she does, and it makes my life super easy. Like, I've really enjoyed this tournament from an admin perspective because I haven't really had to do anything. We haven't had a lot of issues. And when they do come up, she's been there to handle them like a pro, and she's the best. So big shout outs to Clear Mouse. If you're listening to this, really appreciate you. And if you're listening to this and want to give a shout out to Clear Mouse in the Discord, I'd love that too, because she deserves all the praise for all the work she does for the community, not just in the 216 tournament, but in the other tournaments she helps with, and just a general awesome member of the community that is always giving. And yeah, super appreciate that. So shout outs to Claire Mouse. Let's get to the interview today. Talked with Trez, didn't really know him, was going to have him on the show previously, not as a full-on guest, but when Tark was doing their first election, I had as many of the people up for election on the show, and Trez was going to come on, but something came up and wasn't able to be on the show. So this is his first opportunity to come on 216, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. I thought it was a great conversation. I really enjoyed learning about who he is, his role in all the behind the scenes stuff for both ALTTPR and OOTR. So let's get to it. Here's my conversation with TreZco. Before we get into like your history and stuff, I kind of want to start out with Hyrule Town Hall.
Sure.
It's the newest addition to the Cross Keys tournament this year, and I think it's one of the coolest things that has happened in recent rando history. How much do you have to do with like coding it and coming up with it? And can you kind of tell me about the origins of the Hyrule Town Hall?
Sure. So basically recently, ever since the tournament has started, I've been pretty much exclusively doing the maintenance on it and been working on extending functionality. As for the history, well, this started out by a coder from the OOT randomizer community called Fennel, who started creating this platform called Mido's House. Really nice title, by the way, better than ours. And they started creating that as just a tournament lifecycle and seed rolling and practicing tool in OTR, and that has been going on for like the past 2 years. And given my hefty involvement with OTR, obviously I got in touch with it a lot. And before Crosskey started, Allison came to me and was like, is there some kind of solution that you see that would help us automate more of this tournament? Because this year's Crosskeys with like the option for people to just select what kind of stuff they want to do and what they don't want to do makes it fairly complex, to a point where just having Sahar Shralabout in just the tournament Discord won't cut it anymore. And so we approached Fennel and talked about the possibility of forking Midas House, because this is OTR exclusive and is fully focused on OTR. And so Allison and me started doing the work on it. And so we added things that the original implementation doesn't have, like the cross-key support, like the volunteering system that's coming, like the async support in Discord. And we plan on extending this more. With my involvement in ZSR, I plan on hopefully in the near future switch all ZSR managed tournaments across all games to this platform. Just because it's been working great, and honestly, it just makes stuff so much easier for the organizer side. I'm excited.
It makes stuff easier for the organizers and for the racers. It's awesome. Like, it is such a cool tool to be able to like just go to the site and then you see like you have like all the links like readily available to like watch streams. Like, I've watched way more cross keys races than I have anything in the past, because it's also like, it's just like a couple clicks away and I don't have to like pay attention to like what's going on. Everything's just there. It's so, as a runner and a viewer, it's been awesome. I think it's really cool. Yeah. And it's like, it's just ran swimmingly so far. Like, we're in week 2 and I feel like I'm not seeing the back end stuff, but like from a runner perspective, it's ran awesome.
Yeah. We only had like a couple mishaps like in the first 2 races of the tournament, just small things, but since then it's been pretty much like hands-off. Tournament just ran. One seat just failed to generate on the door randomizer branch,
Sure.
Which is kind of funny, but we already fixed that too. So honestly, I'm really happy and didn't think it would go this smoothly, but I mean, the base was really great, so all the heads off to Fennel. But Allison and me now have a platform that we're really happy to work with. And I think it has a lot of potential. That's honestly that makes me more hyped that this is just expandable beyond belief. Besides it being written in Rust, which makes it a little tough.
Sure. So you've been around the randomizer community, I think even longer than I have with Zelda Speedruns and stuff. We haven't interacted a ton, but I'm super excited to kind of hear your story and how ZSR came about and things like that. But I think we should start like way in the beginning. Like, what's your history with like video games? Were you playing them as a kid? What do you remember some of the first games that you were playing?
Oh yeah. So you will find this cheesy, but it's honestly the truth. I've been born in 1991, and my first game console that I got access to was a SNES. So my first game was A Link to the Past.
No, that's not cheesy at all. It's excellent. I love it. Yeah, that's
which
great.
Is why also A Link to the Past to this day is still my favorite Zelda game, because it's just childhood memories galore. Well, I grew up in a household that was just a lot of like technology forward, because my dad was working in tech already back in the day, and so that's just what I grew up on. And I've been a gamer. I actually played, like, it's funny how that goes sometimes. I played some professional esports for a while, way back when it was still somewhat early and not the insane thing that it is nowadays, and especially in terms of like exposure and prize money.
Sure.
And then I switched over to being a broadcaster and commentator for esports events, especially in Counter-Strike. And then I came to speedrunning. That was around 2012-ish, having like MoFat play Twilight Princess, which I speedran myself for a long time in SGDQ, and seeing that for the first time and just getting hooked. So that's basically how I started into all of this.
That's the fast version. We're here on 216. We're going to take our time. We'll get there. Let's get back to the SNES. So your first console was the SNES.
Yeah.
It was Z3 your first game? Do you remember like collecting a library? And then what was it? You said your dad was a programmer, so it was a pretty technology forward home in the mid 90s, I guess, as your kid. Does that mean you were playing with your parents, or did you have brothers and sisters that you played with?
I have a brother. I have an older brother who was like 5 years older, and he owned the SNES.
Oh, okay. That helps.
That helps for sure. And him and me, nowadays not so much anymore how that goes, but him and me played a lot together, and like he took a lot of pride in being the older brother. Mm-hmm. So him playing SNES meant at some point he wanted to expose me to that, include me in that. And that's how I got to play. Like, I was like 4. So obviously that was like super overwhelming for me. But
yeah.
he still tells me about that. Just me like being glued to the screen, that tiny 8-inch no remote control screen.
Yeah.
How that goes in the 90s, right? And
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, just being hooked to it. And Link to the Past is that one game, I want to say, besides a lot of others, that I just keep replaying every other year.
Sure.
Apart from the rando, right?
Yeah, it's just a great game. Like, it's still like 30 years later, it's a classic for a reason. It holds up.
Yeah.
I mean, the randomizer gives it new legs, but like just the base game is super, super duper fun.
Yeah, and from there, just of course, I played all the Mario games. I'm still like super attached to SMW and SMB3 and stuff. Of course, the games that I grew up on, and actually a lot more to those than to the N64 games, because I never had an N64, shockingly enough.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually, I just came back with the GameCube then, and then played SMS a lot, which I also love dearly. But yeah, the Zelda games, Link to Past stuck with me. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker stuck with me, and then even Twilight Princess I speedran. But yeah, these.
So
nice.
How did the skipping of the 64 happen? Like, it feels like, I don't. Did you guys just not want the console? Did you not? I don't know what. Because again, you're known for a little bit more OOT than I think even Zelda 3.
Yeah. It's funny how that plays, right? Because my brother and me, him first and then me, we just started drifting away from console gaming when he got older and I got older, and we both shifted pretty much exclusively to PC gaming.
I see.
Played a lot of Counter-Strike, played a lot of just PC games. I grew up on point-and-click adventures, which is still like my jam. And that just kind of replaced the need for a console. I had a PlayStation, a PS1, because I won that at McDonald's back in the day.
What? You won it?
I won a PS1 at McDonald's.
How? Can you tell that story? I'd love to hear it.
It's just McDonald's had like some coupon code thing in the Happy Meal. And I just managed to win a PS1. That was how I got another console again.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And so obviously that, and then that was time when Tony Hawk came out, right? Everybody and their mother was playing Tony Hawk for years to come. And so that's when I was just playing a lot of PC games. I was playing Tony Hawk and Digimon World and games from that kind of era, and Pokemon obviously became big on the Game Boy. So I didn't have another Nintendo home console until I got the GameCube.
Okay.
And that's when I started getting back into it, and then it just evolved from there. I never finished OT until like, I want to say like, I was already speedrunning in like 16, 17 or something.
That's crazy.
It's just how it goes.
Totally. Yeah. It's funny to hear that ended up skipping, and then also being, something that you're known for is OOT. That's just funny. As far as like computer games, you said Counter-Strike. Is this the original like 1.6 Counter-Strike that you're playing, or is this Source?
Is all of them. So the ones that I played esports wise a little bit was Condition Zero, actually. So the mid game between 1.6 and Source. And then I switched to playing Unreal Tournament in ESL back in the day. But Counter-Strike, UT was a big thing. Then, of course, I just told you the point-and-click games. There's still some memories there that I will never let go, like playing...
Which games?
The Monkey Island series for the first time, for example, which was fantastic. Games that are partially already very old at the time when I first played them, but I just dove in.
That's funny how there's certain games that will just like they're ingrained in your memory. Like for me, I liked point and click games too. For me, It was Maniac Mansion for the NES.
Oh yeah.
That I remember buying that game with my own money at the time, and just like it was beyond my capabilities as a little kid to like figure it all out. Like I was never able to like figure it out as a kid, but then I kind of got stuck in that world. And when Day of the Tentacle came out, it's like super ingrained in my brain in a way that's like more than even the game ever really was. Like I don't know if I ever finished Day of the Tentacle, but I just have so many memories and there's a sense of nostalgia that's just so tied to the core of my memories and of who I am. It's weird how games can do that.
It's crazy because I still to this day consider Day of the Tentacle the best point and click adventure of all time.
It's so good. It's so good.
That game. Now I need to play Day of the Tentacle again. I know what I'm doing tonight.
It's so good.
Jesus.
And I love that the new version has there's like an updated version, and then you could play the retro version at the same time. I don't know. It's cool. They came out with another game recently, a few years ago. It's like something about a theme park mystery. I can't remember what it's called, but I played that and it was fun. It wasn't Day of the Tentacle fun, but it was good.
Trimbleweed Park or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was fun. It wasn't, didn't quite hit the same itch, but it was still fun. So yeah, I have that same love for those point and click games. Source too. Source was a big inspiration for me. Like that, I ended up getting my job through playing Counter-Strike with the clan that I was playing Counter-Strike with. I was never good enough to be like in esports, but I have a deep love and appreciation for that game.
Yeah, it's just Counter-Strike. Honestly, that was what brought me into esports. It was such an interesting part of my life, and it kind of just got replaced by speedrunning ultimately, which is also interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just both playing and commentating, broadcasting restreams of Counter-Strike, and then afterwards Dota, which I also really liked. Was just it was a huge part of my life. I did it as a job for a little while, like didn't pay much, but it was something that got me through like university. And yeah, that was a fun time. It's wild that I can 100% say that it got 100% replaced by everything I do with CSR.
So this is like early or mid 2000s then? Is that right?
Yeah, it's more like late 2000s because I switched pretty much or almost. No, you're right. That was, let me think. No, yeah, that's late 2000 and early 10s actually.
Okay. Because esports is different. I mean, it's evolved quite a bit from then. Yeah. This is pretty early esports. So what was that like and how is it different? Like, I don't know, can you kind of tell me about the experience of what those early esports times were like?
So obviously it was just, everything was a lot smaller. That was just, before it was about big money, before like games like Dota 2 with like the multi-million-dollar prize pools and League, and then what nowadays is Fortnite and stuff, just took off. There were no big restreaming studios, so it was all just smaller groups doing coverage. We had, especially in Germany, always a very healthy thing that had like 99 Damage as like the big host of CS tournaments and stuff, and joined Dota as like the Dota community that also was situated in Germany. So we always had like an active scene there, but obviously it was a lot more niche than it is today. The participants were older on average than it is today, I want to say. And it wasn't that big money part that it was. When I started playing myself, like CS Condition Zero and Unreal Tournament days, that was mostly just for fun, honestly. That was just for the competition. Really for the competition mainly, instead of like any other motives. Which is, it couldn't be more different from what it is today, right?
Yeah, you did it because you loved playing the game.
Yeah.
And being competitive. That's super cool. So then you started moving in from playing into commentating and broadcasting. Is that that ended up leading you to create ZSR?
I didn't actually create CSR.
Oh,
funnily enough,
okay.
Many people don't know that. But yeah, I really enjoyed the commentary and doing that kind of coverage and doing nice presentations on OBS and stuff, and then on Twitch and first on 3D back in the day. And that's when I just got more into the entire streaming space. That was just also speedrunning and streaming had nothing to do with it. Not speedrunning. Esports and streaming had nothing to do with each other back then, right?
Sure.
So Twitch and stuff wasn't something that I got in contact with, although I was playing online a lot. And so that's when I started getting into that. And that's when I started getting also into speedrunning, because that's just the gaming content that you had, especially early on, that was really popular. That was back when we had nowadays TreZc0 and like the other big players, all that made speedrunning pretty big. And that was probably, I want to say, almost the most interesting and the most popular content on Twitch. Especially when Twitch was a lot smaller than it is today.
Yeah.
And that's how I got in there. And actually, ZSR got funded by a group of people, including nowadays TreZc0 and Max, who was the owner for a long time, and a few others around ZFG and well-known people in the 3D Zelda space around 2010.
Oh, okay.
And that was when they did a lot of 3D only documentation on the website, did some smaller charity runs here and there, some specials and stuff. And I didn't take over until 2016, when ZSR was pretty much dying down because nobody was maintaining it anymore, really, and most of the people had moved on. And I just been active for a couple years writing documentation for the game that I was running at the time, which was Twilight Princess. And so I started re-ramping the documentation on ZSR because that was a helpful resource. Note that was pre-Discord, so nothing happened in Discord. That was everything was. It's something that you can't even imagine not having nowadays, right? That's,
right. Yeah.
But yeah, that was everything happened in the Zelda Speedruns forums, or in the SDA Speed Demos Archives forums, or in the Zelda IRC. And ZSR was just the documentation for videos and stuff where you could find the videos, and it was horribly outdated.
I see.
So I started updating that, and that's how I got in touch with Max at the time, who started having he had his first kid and was mostly working still at Amazon at the time, I believe, and started moving out. And then he handed it off to me and a couple others just to maintain it. And I've been the project lead on ZSR since then, so since 2016. So
originally ZSR wasn't a way to like restream races or for the community. Was it mostly for like hosting videos, or what was the goal of ZSR originally, and what did you change it into?
ZSR originally was just leaderboards for Zelda games, and those are still on the website if you know how to find them, and documentation, and specifically for 3D games.
I see.
So they started with OTMM, Wind Waker, and TP pretty much. And then that started evolving. But ZSR was always, especially given the small team, very restrictive in who had access, who could do stuff. And that actually burned a lot of bridges, because the original maintenance team was solely focused, and I can't blame them because that was just what they did, solely focused on 3D Zelda. And obviously the 2D Zelda games wanted their share and wanted to contribute, and that always was like jumping through a lot of hoops and stuff. It's why the Zelda 1 and 2 community switched to their Red Candle solution, because they just couldn't get what they needed on ZSR. And that was pretty much all it was. At some point, Testrunner, who is now like really high up at Games Done Quick, joined in to make like events for them and like host marathons and charity events and that kind of stuff. But the main focus of ZSR still was the documentation and the leaderboards.
I see.
Until I took over, and that was when speedrun.com came up, and ZSR got more and more obsolete, and then we started migrating to what ZSR is today, which is mostly a tournament restream and like event management platform for the Zelda community.
Yeah, it's a great one too. Man, I have so many questions because you've done so much. So you go from esports, and then you said you found speed running. And what was your first few games that you decided to speed run? And was it a natural transition to go from like esports to doing speed runs?
Oh no, it really wasn't. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I started just pretty much exclusively speedrunning Twilight Princess after seeing that on my first ever year that I saw Games Done Quick. So that was SGDQ 2012, I believe. So I started speedrunning that myself, and that game is known as being notoriously hard and notoriously RNG heavy. So not like the best kind of game to start out on, but
sure. It's pretty long too, isn't it?
It is still pretty long. Like the game has a ton of glitches. It's like super complex and highly technical, but it didn't get the one gigantic break that pretty much all other Zelda games got at some point. There's like a couple, like 2 tricks that shave off an hour individually, but it's still like 3 hours long.
yeah, that's a commitment. That's a commitment.
So I really enjoyed that, but it was very different because playing esports is all about adapting, right? It's all about reacting to a situation that you practiced for, but that is never quite the same. And then being able to have the nerves and especially the speed to react with the best possible reaction.
Right.
Whereas speedrunning is like the complete opposite. You 100%, in most cases, know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And you just need to have the muscle memory that fleshed out that you basically have automatisms that you just play off.
Right.
And that was a really difficult switch for me. And funnily enough, I noticed, and it's still the same today, that I always enjoyed practicing a lot more than actually doing runs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's super understandable. I mean, the mentality of speedrunning is just different. It's competition, but it's solo competition, right? Like you're competing against other people in theory, but it's just you and the controller and conquering the game, right? It's just different.
Yeah, it is. And like I just noticed that practicing and like just getting in there and optimizing things and like really having the time at my own pace to just practice was better than having to be put on the spot on stream in a live run event and then potentially just have to reset all the time or just not be happy.
Sure.
So I never became a big runner.
I mean, it's tough. So Twilight Princess was first. Was there any other games that you started to speedrun?
I just branched out and learned a couple ones here and there that I never really fully pushed through or just did a lot with. So I did learn NMG at some point for Link to the Past. I did learn SMS, any percent back in the day. But that's pretty much it, because just like with esports, I switched fairly quickly to just focusing on more of the community development, management / documentation side of things. And that's where I found my passion, right? I will be doing this after 9 years. 9 years? Oh my.
Time flies, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
For sure.
Yeah. I knew from the first stream that we did with the new ZSR, that like system that we developed, my friend Dragonbane0 and me who did this together, that this is my passion. I was like love at first sight, honestly. As soon as we started doing this, I knew that this was where I would fit in, that this was where I would stay and focus on. And that's when I pretty much stopped running altogether. I do it every now and then as like a community special or just to show off something when people ask me for it. But yeah, this is where where I landed, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you find the thing that you love, it will be tough at times, and that doesn't mean it's never tough, but it makes it so much easier. Like when you're doing something that you love, I don't know. I do this podcast because I really like to talk to people in the community. I make $0 from it. In fact, it costs me more money and time than I'll ever get back. But the fact that I get a chance to like hear people's stories and like, I don't know, I love doing it. It's super fun. So.
And it shows. I can tell you. I can tell that you're passionate about hearing about this, and it makes it really enjoyable for me to just talk.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, like I love to get to know people, especially people in the community, and kind of on the outskirts, because most of the people I talk to are the racers, and I, hearing your story, who has contributed so much to our community, but it's all mostly behind the scenes, is always really interesting for me, and I'm glad other people are going to get a chance to hear it too. So your passion for Zelda comes from Link to the Past, one of the first games that you played, and then Twilight Princess was the game that you started speedrunning with. What about the other Zeldas? Was it just I love kind of Zelda, or what? I don't know. Tell me about your love for Zelda, because you run it's not specifically OOT. It's not specifically Twilight Princess or Link to the Past. It's Zelda speedruns, right? Like it covers all the bases. So
yeah, it's like honestly the entire franchise just stuck with me, and I love it dearly. And I'm like extremely hyped about every development that comes there. I mean, I'm not saying anything surprising when I say that sometimes Nintendo doesn't make it easy for all of us.
Sure.
But it's just I love the variety that Nintendo showed over the years. There's not a single Zelda game that I think doesn't deserve to exist in its own merit. Maybe that's why, because they reinvented the wheel so often over the years. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like both A Link to the Past, who shaped an entire genre until today, and OT in its own way, just probably were two of the most impactful games on video games, especially in that segment, ever, right? So. Mm-hmm. It's like Nintendo changed their ways a little bit with like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which are a fantastic game in their own right, but which weren't genre defining, right? Like they adapted an existing formula of open world games and just made it Zelda, and obviously contributed a lot. But A Link to the Past and OT just did something that wasn't there at the time.
Right.
So I just think that, and a big part of that is that I think there's many people in the community that share this passion. Zelda is a really easy franchise to be passionate about with the way it's done. And that's why whenever we do marathons or like bigger events, our wish is that we just get to showcase everything there is, like all the Zelda games. That's getting increasingly hard, but sure. I find that completeness and that showcase of all the different styles and all the different ideas that Nintendo brought to the table, because that's what they do. Mm-hmm. I find that fascinating. Even such things as like the weird things, like the Philips CDI Zelda games, which I personally enjoy, or
sure.
Or Link's crossbow training for the Wii, right. Which we had on a Zelda Speedruns marathon, right? It's a wild ride to just be a Zelda fan, honestly, because there's just so much content. Not even talking about all the things in the fan scene, which is getting more and more crazy, right? Like
totally.
Between all the randomizers and all the fan mods and fan games surrounding that, or custom maps and sprites, it's just fun to dive into that rabbit hole, honestly.
It totally is. Do you remember when you first heard of the randomizers, and were you involved at all in any of the randomizers early on?
Well, OTR was really, really early when I got on board. But Personally involved in the development of randomizers, not really. Over the years, I contributed or got involved in like some testing and stuff just to share my opinion. But funnily enough, when I started doing ZSR, I wasn't even a developer yet. That was all me just learning on the fly pretty much, and having Dragonbane as my partner in crime, who is a fantastic developer. So especially in recent years, in the last year especially, is where I started contributing more on a programmer level for randomizers like MMR, like OTR. But yeah, I was involved pretty early when the first part of the racing scene for OTR started up. But funnily enough, the only reason why ZSR and OTR got so deeply connected over the years that sometimes people just connect me with OTR is that I hope I'm not getting in trouble for saying that Speed Gaming dropped the ball. They were supposed to do the weeklies, but they were so busy at that time, just extremely busy. Speed Gaming blew up, and they just had no time to get set up with the new game that was Uder at the time. So the OTR community came to me and said, "Can you do this?" And that's basically when everything, how do you say, the rest is history, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was a hole that needed to be filled, and you were able to do that. And then all of a sudden, now you are associated so closely with the OTR community.
Yeah, it's over the years, it's just been more for me than just doing restreams for them, right? I closely work with staff because back in the day, there was a really small group and the community wasn't that big. But it grew at an insanely fast pace, and the admin back in the day for OTR, Menu, just didn't have the time anymore. And so he at some point decided, okay, there's one person in this community that everybody trusts to keep the ship on course. And so I took over the admin duty as head of OTR. And yeah, it's my baby a little bit, right? I didn't code the randomizer, but I'm just so happy to see how big the community has gotten, and how many races there are. I mean, besides a Link to the Past randomizer, it's by far the biggest one. And it's still a community that manages to reinvent itself frequently, just like a Link to the Past, honestly. Just with the two couldn't be more different from each other, which is surprising.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, the thing that I really appreciate about learning more about you and hearing how connected you are to the community is the fact that you build community. I that's what I hope to do with the podcast, and it's what I hope to do with when I was helping run things a little bit more on the rando side of Link to the Past. But just that creating of community, right? Like I feel like ZSR is that's something that ZSR is known for, and I think it has partially to do with the fact that you also have the community restream, right? Like Speed Gaming has its own automated system that does its own thing, and there's other restreamers that do something. But for you guys, I think this is the case, is you rely on other people in the community to restream through ZSR. Is that right?
Well, we do have a core team of restreamers. That's like 40, 45 people.
That's a lot of people, though. That's like, that's a lot of people. That's super cool to have that many volunteers that are willing to, I don't know, spread the love, right? Like it's because we love the game. It's because we love the communities, and it's all the different Zelda communities that it's happening with.
Yeah, that's like, it's just something that grew over time. And of course, as it goes with these kind of things, entirely volunteer work, which I couldn't be more grateful for, that just comes in waves, and people have more or less different levels of activity over time. There's some that just restream twice or three times a week. There's others that do one a month or something. But yeah, over time, we just said, look, folks, there's this demand from the Zelda community to output more content, to do more tournaments for both audience and players, and to get them exposure and stuff. So if you are interested in helping with that, please reach out to me. And so over the years, I just built this core team of 30 to 50 members that just sign up to restreams in the list whenever they feel like it. I, from the start, said I am in a position here where I can do nothing but provide the framework and be incredibly grateful for everybody who steps up and says, look, I'm devoting my personal time with honestly not that much in return. I just have to be honest about that, to do something for the community. And that's how we still run ZSR 8 years later. Although actually not, the first 2 years I did that all by myself.
Sure.
Which was,
you start somewhere, which is unsustainable, right?
Yeah. I was in university at the time, and we started doing OTR, and OTR had 2 weekly races a week, Saturday and Sunday. And they were both at midnight my time, I think.
Jeez. Wow.
So actually started with just one, and that was a Sunday evening, like 11 p.m. on midnight my time. And so what I would do, I would start a restream. I would first watch them, obviously, and then as I knew them, I would set an alarm, go to bed, get up at 3 a.m., finish the restream, and then go to university at 7.
Oh my gosh.
So that's obviously wasn't sustainable at all, right?
Yeah.
But then a few people started coming in, people that became big OT restream, OT races or stuff later that just jumped from us to other places, or some that even left speedrunning altogether at some point and that are no longer with us. But so the team constantly grew, and there's actually people that joined in like 19 or 20 that are still with us. And I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so the only difference as to other platforms like speed gaming for us is that we just require us, or like set it in stone for us, that we have a personal component to all our ZSR restreams. Like, obviously, commentators and trackers come from a volunteer pool of a certain game, but we still make sure that we participate in every restream and welcome the community to ZSR, and make sure that for the entirety of a restream, the volunteers that handle commentary and tracking have a dedicated person to help them out with issues or to take over when there's an issue or stuff. And of course, that means a lot more work to maintain all this. And a lot of stuff is automated, because else it's not feasible to do like 15 restreams on a Saturday.
Right.
But that's how we've been doing things pretty much.
What about you as far as gaming goes now? Because, you're not esports anymore. You're not speedrunning. Are you playing games? Are you getting time away to just enjoy games on their own? What's your relationship to video games now, apart from an administrator?
I still consider myself an active gamer. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't playing anymore. I find myself enjoying multi-worlds a lot with like just my friends. That's why we also started hosting Multi-World GG as the platform, just to have like something for my friends and me to just do stuff together between different games. And I do still enjoy the occasional single player game when it comes up and it really hits a nerve for me. I found myself as a kid after Zelda really enjoying JRPGs. So whenever a big JRPG comes out, that's usually me. And so I still am deeply connected. I'm not speedrunning anymore, and I'm not really playing active esports anymore, but I'm still a gamer. And luckily, I have the luck that my partner also comes from the same community, from the randomizer community, and really enjoys it herself. So it's also a really nice couple activity for the two of us, which is a fortunate thing. I'm not going to lie.
Awesome.
It makes it a lot easier.
Can I ask, did you meet your partner through the randomizer?
I did, in fact.
That's super cool, man. I love that. I love the friendships and the relationships that are created that are that go beyond the game, that's just huge to me. Like, it makes what we do that much more important, even, you know what I mean? Like, that's super cool.
It's honestly a story that when I tell it my parents or my family that isn't really deeply rooted in this community as I am, it's hard to understand, but we met through her volunteering as commentator for Wind Waker randomizer restream.
Okay.
That's just a special thing for me, and that's a thing that I will always be grateful for. And like, look, she is from the US. She is coming over to live with me in August now, finally, after 2 years. And that's all thanks to this community. So
that's so awesome. I love that, man. I really do. It's so cool when, you know, we're just playing video games, right? Like, who would have thought playing Link to the Past as a kid when you're 4 years old, introduced by your brother, would end up leading you to your partner, you know, many years later? Like, you know, you love the game, you end up, you know, volunteering and taking over as ESR, and then do, you know, run these commentaries, and then find someone. I don't know. They're just, to me, that's special. And it's crazy that these, you know, we're always looking for connections in life. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, video games are pretty new. You know, they've been around for 40 years or so now, but we're now creating these like lifelong relationships through them. I don't know. That's just super cool to me. I love it.
It's a wonderful way to put this. Yeah. Because honestly, my connection to gaming, be it through what you just mentioned with like the original connection as a gamer through ZSR and stuff, that for me, honestly, could not have been more important, because it changed my life in so many aspects. It made the entire ZSR thing possible. It made me decide that what I was studying at the time when I took over ZSR, I was in law school.
Oh, wow.
I decided, okay, I finished law school, and I was like, okay, no more. This is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I finished law school, and then I went into an IT job and just started becoming a programmer, and then now a DevOps engineer, what I'm doing nowadays. It's just this, between my job and Crystal as my partner, who's hopefully going to be my wife next year, it decided the course for the entirety of my life, and not in any shape or form in a bad way. I don't regret making the choices that I did because of that at all. And that's just, yeah.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I love it.
It is beautiful. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, things like Games Done Quick, which have become so huge, and the relationships that are formed from people in the communities playing video games, or even not even playing. Some of them just like enjoy watching speedrunnings. You know, the OOTR community, the Z3R community, like, I don't know, there's just like real relationships. Like we went out in Seattle, a group of us went that are like in Washington State, and met in the Seattle area and just hung out and had dinner together. And I don't know, that's fun stuff that's outside of the game that we play, but it's able to create through these games, these cool, fun relationships that go beyond just clicking some buttons. I don't know. I'm getting sappy, but I just love that kind of stuff. And it always makes me excited to hear stories like that where, yeah, we met from playing video games, and now, you know, she's going to be eventually your wife. That's cool. I don't know. That's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I've been on the record, or like, there's probably videos on it on YouTube about me just tearing up on stream, like after charity marathons that we were able to put up, like where we get the donations for charity organizations, or for community members who are maybe not even there anymore.
Totally. Yeah, like, you know, Ricky Fakiri was a huge part of our community, and is a huge loss. And I remember the fundraising streams that were happening on ZSR at the time for him, and it's real relationships. You know what I mean? Like, we might not have been able to hang out in person, but we spent hours and hours and hours together and got to know each other playing this video game. And that was the tool that got us to know each other, but it created real relationships. And then when we lose them, it's real heartbreak. And so, yeah, I don't know. Again, super sappy, and I'm sorry for getting so sappy, but I just love the community aspect of it all. And I feel like you and what you've done with the CSR is an important aspect of it all. So
I appreciate you saying that. Like, it honestly means a lot more than you can imagine. It's the main reason why I still do this. I pretty much have done my share. I think that's fair to say. Over the years, I have pretty much done all there is to do, and pretty much there's not much new that's coming that is still surprising me, but it's still not getting stale or boring for me because the community aspect is just crazy. There's so many devoted people, so many passionate people in this community, and so many people that just burn so brightly doing this after years partially, or even being new people. That's a thrill that I just can't let go of, because I am really passionate about gaming and about Zelda games especially, and about speedrunning. And I see people around me who are way crazier about this, way more passionate, and who are willing to go the extra mile at all costs and for so much. And it's just, that's honestly a fantastic feeling. And if I can be a part of that by just enabling them or giving them a platform to showcase that, that's just, I enjoy that. And
totally. I love it
so much.
I totally love that. So what does the future of ZSR look like for you? Are you happy with the way things are now? And we talked a little bit about the Hyrule Town Hall stuff and integrating that more into the communities. What does your future look like with ZSR?
I mean, that's so hard to tell. HTH is gonna be a big factor, and I believe making tournament organization more accessible and like more centralized in a way that people have a reliable source and a reliable platform that makes it just easier to access and provide information. So I really hope that that's going to take off. And as for ZSR itself, it's really hard to say right now. Honestly, we are, in my opinion, past the big peak of both speedrunning and Twitch streaming in general. Yeah. I think we are definitely on the down there, and it's just people's interest change to different mediums, and like streaming in general has a harder hurdle to take than it had like 5 years ago with rising costs and stuff. So I have no idea where things are going. It's very obviously the case that it's just not enough anymore to have a good-looking Twitch stream with good-looking emotes to maintain a viewership and a subscriber count and pay the bills and stuff.
Yeah.
And luckily, I don't have to, because we, from the start, budgeted ZSR and concepted ZSR from in a way that doesn't create insane costs. So that's just not a focus, and we can just put out what the community wants us to put out, and we just can focus on allowing tournaments and communities to do that thing. But as for where the future goes, I don't know. I want to put in more work again. Recently, it's been just a little more maintenance mode, and with Hyrule Town Hall and all that's to come, I want to get a little more hands-on and innovative again. So something maybe revamp the ZSR restreaming framework, so there's like more to see and new graphics and just a overall less 2018, 2020 and more like 2025 experience.
Yeah,
it still works, and it doesn't look terrible or dated or something, but there's just more possibilities now that I want to like just dive into and see what's possible.
Yeah.
But in terms of like long term and what's the next big thing, actually, I don't know right now. I think it's really hard to say.
So do you think, you talked about numbers being down and participants being down a little bit. Do you think things were artificially inflated during the pandemic? I mean, the height of ALTTPR was 2020 through like 2022. And, numbers have dwindled a bit and participation is down a bit, but I feel like it's kind of steady. I'm not as familiar with OOTR, but yeah, what do you think that everything kind of got overinflated during the pandemic?
It definitely, maybe not overinflated, but it definitely looked bigger and like sky is the limit. Like during the pandemic, everybody was stuck at home. The amount of people just wanting something to do and want some kind of social contacts in that time was just through the roof, and the amount of volunteering work and just fresh ideas and people just being basically stuck with this community for 24/7.
Yeah.
That just made everything super seamless and easy, and the numbers were gigantic and stuff. There was a time, just 1 month, I'll never forget that, where we were running an OTR tournament, and all of a sudden ZSR had like 1,700 subscribers on Twitch, and I was like,
"Jeez,
what is going on here? Why?
Yeah.
Where are all these people coming from?" And now it's just all pretty much back to normal levels, and maybe even lower levels, just because the amount of alternatives in terms of just activities to do or content to consume and platforms to consume content on and types of content to consume have changed in another direction. And especially to the younger audience, that is probably our main focus group. Like speedrunning is probably something, or was something, for the people between like 16 and 35 or something.
Mm-hmm.
That lower end is not there anymore because they are mostly focused on other things, right?
Yeah.
So it's still a wonderful community, and it's still just fantastic people that have either stuck with us or are still there or are coming after. But I think the growth period is over. That's for sure.
Right, that insane growth that we had during the pandemic is definitely over, and I think for me it was a learning curve of like, where is everyone gone? And you know what I mean, like we're past it now, but I feel like being satisfied is okay, like understanding like who we have in the community and the small growth that we have is okay, and we're lucky to have 150 people play this game. I think. I don't know.
I agree. I totally agree. I think it would be wrong to just say, okay, we had 400 people tournaments 3 years ago. Now we have 200 people tournaments. We are doing something wrong, or the community is dying, or what people have decided to do is just bad for the community. I think that's just not it. I think being realistic about it, and just instead of like dreading that the numbers are down, appreciating all the people that have stayed, especially those that are coming in fresh, because these still exist. I think that's the way to go. I fully agree with you.
So what do you think about the Zelda 3 randomizer community? What do you think? Because again, you are are you the admin? Do you run the OTR side of things? Yeah. Okay.
I do. And like for the Link to the Past randomizer or for Z3R, obviously my main priority was running tournaments and then hosting the coverage. Like I'm co-adminning the Cross Keys tournament now. I've been running the Challenge Cup with others for a few years. And 2 years, is that 2 years ago? I don't know. 2 years ago, I even ran for Tark to be part of the team. And missed out by like one road. But yeah, Z3R, I mentioned that earlier, is very, very different from OTR. OTR has been a very contributor-heavy community throughout the years. Like development is still very active. There's like 20 or 25 active contributors to development of the randomizer. And there's a very, very deep connection between development of the randomizer and the competitive scene. which is interesting. And it obviously also comes with challenges because competitive interests and developer interests and casual player interests do not always align.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you have a Link to the Past randomizer, which in terms of development is in a is it weird to say that it's in a interesting spot right now where main development is pretty much
like the last VT version is 5 or 6 years old now, and it feels like everything's been built off of the door rando branch, which is like isn't the official VT or whatever, which is, all of it's kind of silly because none of it is official, but it's different. It's definitely different.
Yeah. And we had that in the past when Amazing Ampharos stopped developing OTR, and we just basically switched from that version being the official version to a different branch or fork being the official version, and then made it basically a community version, and since then it's been maintained. But yeah, Z3R just has a lot more different dynamics and much more players in the head of, how do you even put that, in being a big person in the community and pushing ideas and pushing opinions than OTR, I think. At least that's how it looks like from the outside of me being interested and obviously always around a little bit, but not deeply involved. With there was a lot of things going on in the recent years with the foundation of Tark and also sadly a lot of drama, of course. Not that, believe me, not that Uder is not a drama-free zone. That's far
drama is going to
be
found wherever there's dramatic people. It's just the nature of it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just from the outside, it can be nearly overwhelming.
Sure.
There's just even more tournaments, even more tournament organizers, even more structures and groups and the people that are really important in the scene to look at. It's really hard for me to keep track at times. But I find it super interesting because the general landscape just seems really healthy. As in, there's just so many people who are devoted to make content, just like you. Just like all the different tournaments, like the Tark, I don't know, like Cody, who's been on your podcast recently, I saw.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see all the developments that go on there. I find the Link to the Past randomizer the feed channel incredible because there's just so much going on there.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
For sure. I think, I think something that I've had to reckon with is how the community it's shrunk for sure, but it's fractured. And when I say fractured, that sounds like it's broken. I don't think it's broken. I think it's just, we used to all be together doing the same thing, big group races, big tournaments and stuff like that. And now it's a bunch of smaller communities. It's a bunch of subset communities. And that's totally fine and healthy. It was just something that I had to reckon with as an old timer in the community. It felt like, where did everyone go? And it's no, everyone's just kind of doing their own thing with the group of friends that they've all found. And I think that's fine.
Yeah, it is. It's less so in OTR. It definitely exists there too. Like a couple years ago, the two big side communities formed, but like the Silver Gauntlets community and the Scrubs community, and they just focused on their own things. And that was hard to understand at times because it's really easy to sit there and think, wait, what did we do wrong? Why do these people feel the urge to just move on and do something by themselves? Are they just not happy with what we do? Right? That's like a really easy and human thing to think.
For sure.
But I think that's the wrong way to go about it nowadays.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everyone, and it's a little bit different because you're not racing regularly. Do you ever race randomizers at all?
Yeah, I do. Mostly we just do it in a friends group setting or in multi-world settings where we run multi-worlds against each other.
Like a more casual race. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is about tilt. And as someone who's played esports or who's done speedrunning or is just a part of any community, managing tilt is kind of a mystery that I've never been able to solve. So I like to hear other people's opinions on how they manage tilt and what they do to either manage it in the moment or after, or what's your approach to handling tilt?
That's really hard because I'm easily tilted. I can tell you. So especially in a racing context, I think the only thing that can really help to get past it is just to say, look, even if this happened, and even if you're now behind, or even if you just made a huge mistake, if you want to have a chance of making that up, if you want to make a chance to get back, the only way to get there is to stay hyper-focused. And in a hyper-focused environment, there's no place for tilt. At least not in that moment. That's incredibly hard. And I am known to just bang my desk and just put my hands down on my desk loudly to the dismay of my partner when I get frustrated. But in many places, that means another time loss on top of what you already did. So being focused on, okay, I need to make this time up. How do I do that by playing even better? I think that's the only feasible thing that you can try to force into your mindset, knowing that this is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like for me, I found that co-op eases my tilt,
100%.
tilt factor at least. Like we still get tilted, but I don't know, having someone to race with and kind of share in my misery when it happens, when I mess up or last locate or make a mistake or whatever, has really helped me manage it a bit more. And I always feel like, oh, I've made big steps, and then I'll be in a race and I lose or I do something bad, and I'm like, I right back to the old me. Like I'm just angry, and how do I manage it? It's tough. Tilt is one of those tough things that I feel like never can fully, for some people, can never fully get over.
Yeah, I agree. I can't ever really shake it off. It's just going to get to the point where I get too frustrated and just need to take a break. Or
that's the ultimate solution, is just stop, take a break, and get away from it for a bit.
Yeah, but you're right. The co-op thing does very much help, just because it forces you to keep it together a little bit. And it also means like, well, if you stop now, you're letting down your team.
Yeah.
So that does cheat that a little bit. I agree, but
yeah. Well, cool. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. I know there's so much more that we could keep going about. I know I feel like we only briefly touched on some of your history, but I don't want to take too much of your time. But more than anything, I really love this opportunity to get to know you and hear your story and hear how, just who you are and all that you've contributed. It's pretty amazing.
Appreciate it. I mean, there's just a lot of things that have happened since I joined this community like 14 years or 13 years ago. And I mean, you can probably tell I'm still pretty passionate about it. So I really appreciate the opportunity to just talk a lot and tell people my story. And I really appreciate the opportunity.
Big shout outs for Trez for coming on the show. Loved hearing his story. I got a little sappy, but I love, stories about people finding partners and friends through gaming. I think it's super cool, and I make no apologies for my sappiness. So appreciate Trez coming on the show. Hope you had a good time, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Next week, we'll be back with another episode. It's going to be a long one. It is a draft episode, and it's still being edited. It's a lot of work, and huge shout outs to Leo for putting all the work in here for this episode. But it was one of the most fun drafts that we've done on 216, and I'm really proud of it and really appreciate all the people that come on the show. And then I have a couple other people lined up. One person confirmed and maybe one or two more that I'm going to reach out to. So we should have a little run here of 216 episodes for the month of August. So be on the lookout for that. Really appreciate everyone. Yeah, really appreciate everyone listening to the show and, being a part of the community. Trez and I talked a lot about community, and I hope to have built something of a community in 216 that I'm proud of. So appreciate everyone hanging out in the Discord. Make sure you join us there. Football is coming back. Training camp is in full swing. Fantasy football will be back. I think we might need a couple of people. So if you're interested in that, post in the fantasy football channel, because we will be doing our draft probably late August. Really excited about drafting again. Just excited about football being back. Cal Raleigh for the Mariners is now leading the AL MVP vote. That's insane. He's got 40 bombs, and we are just about the end of July. Like the most from a catcher, a switch hitting catcher like of all time. Dude's insane. Been loving baseball. Football's coming back. It's going to be good season for the Hawks. I'm excited to talk about it here on the Link to the Past Randomizer podcast and also in the Discord. So make sure you join our Discord. We've got links to the Discord in our episode notes. And I think that's going to do it. Again, really appreciate anyone listening to the show. It is really fun to do these. And I know they're not regular, but I just enjoy doing them. And I'm glad that there's some people that enjoy listening to it. So if you can, leave a rating on Apple Podcasts. That helps me out a lot. Would love to hear any thoughts about the show in the Discord as well. So join us. I'd really appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you next week for the draft.